Some are very upset, calling what happened cruel and inhumane.
Tonight, the FWC responding to those explosive allegations.
We spoke with one of the owners of the snakes who says that he is so angry that this happened. He says that the way that the snakes were killed was inhumane.
Chris Coffey says he still can't stomach watching this video showing Florida wildlife officers killing more than 30 of his python snakes. The video provided by the advocacy group US ARC.
It's like watching someone kill my kids.
The wild video causing a snake scandal tonight is
covering St. Johns County this evening. A Florida Fish and Wildlife officer is facing charges. Officer William Lee Lawshe joined the department in 2008.
So I'm going to be going over what's happened in the last week since the disturbing events that took place in this video. We caused so much of a ruckus that they actually disabled their Facebook page for 24 hours. We even got attention from the mainstream media, which is, I don't know, pretty hard to do. So in response to that leaked footage that we were so lucky to have captured on tape, the FWC responded with this press release.
Officers did not initiate contact with the facility owner with any intention of engaging in the euthanasia of animals at the time. It goes on to say the facility owner during the visit formally relinquished his reptiles to FWC and requested that the FWC officers and investigators euthanize the reptiles.
The FWC Division of Law Enforcement is determining the full details of this incident, and more information will be released when it's verified and appropriate to do so. Assembling the information and records required to provide a clear picture to the public on the facts of this incident may take time, but the FWC is committed to providing factual information when it becomes available. Let's talk about the first part regarding the owner formally relinquishing his reptiles to the FWC, because this is true, but it happened nearly 14 months ago. And luckily, I happened to pull this body cam footage when it happened. This video is actually pretty long, so I'm gonna just show you the important parts to better explain the story and why their press release is kind of garbage.
Chris, hey buddy, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hey man, this is Gabe. He's another one of our inspectors.
Chris knows that something's a little off. He notes that this is the first time that 2 inspectors had actually ever arrived at his property. And he also informed me that this was the first time that an inspector actually wore a body cam at his facility.
I have 9 berms, 26 reticks, and 1 combo.
Yep.
Is that still?
Right there.
That's the combo, the 1 combo mix. Okay.
So did you find out about that? I am not allowed to sell out of state, right?
No, right now you can't.
Exactly.
You
We
can't.
had the date,
You can't.
and we stopped on the date.
Okay, hold on.
Like I said, if they would let me continue to sell out of state, I would get rid of the rest of the young snakes.
So, just in case you missed that, Chris was able to rehome a majority of the snakes, saving them from the execution that would take place on April 6th, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to rehome all of them. Had the state allowed him to sell these animals outside of Florida, they might still be alive today.
And that's what?
It's a black motley golden child.
Retic, huh?
And anthrax.
I've never seen one like that. You see, that's a retic.
Oh, wait.
It almost looks like a.
I like the rainbow color. You know?
Yeah, it looks like it's a like one of those black racers or something. I mean.
So there's the first example of officers not exactly knowing what they're looking at. So that's pretty important to the story here because they just butchered one by accident.
On the list, you said you had 9 berms, right? Let's count the 9 berms.
This is a berm.
Okay.
This is a berm.
Okay. It's 2.
This is a berm.
3.
I am convinced that the officers had him do this count because they weren't 100% sure they'd identify the right snakes.
As of April 29th of 2021, they enacted all these new rules, which all these are listed. Green iguanas, tegus, you know, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
They gave a grace period for everybody. You had until July 28th of 2021 to liquidate everything. And you know that, those dates,
And you know
correct?
I did. You know there was over 100 animals
Okay,
here.
okay. Now with that being said, we still have 36, correct?
Yep.
Okay. You had until the end of July to liquidate everything, okay? You didn't do so. You have failed to come into compliance. The only thing you could have done, being a commercial, there's 2 things you could have done. Apply to be a public exhibitor, meaning you would have to have opened up, had business hours, money, like a pet shop almost.
I told you I would do that, but you couldn't give me the answer if I'm allowed to do that.
This isn't him and I. This is coming from above us.
You're not
okay?
going to take my animals.
No. We're not taking your snakes today. We're not taking your snakes.
Today.
We're not taking your snakes. Okay?
Period? You're not taking them ever?
I'm not saying that. We're not taking your snakes. Right now, we're doing a constructive seizure. Means they stay here with you in your care. They're not going anywhere. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm listening.
Okay. Next part is that you're being charged for being an listed prohibited species in possession of.
You're being charged.
You're being charged.
I'm getting arrested?
Not getting arrested. Not physically getting arrested. You're getting charged and notice to appear in court for being in possession of these. Basically, Tallahassee's that you're not in compliance with the new rules, and they're not going to issue a permit. It's way too late. The ship has sailed, basically. So this is the direction I've been given with your situation.
Why didn't someone let me know this? That this was going to be the outcome.
I didn't know either until.
See, that's what's fucked up about the whole thing. Nobody knows. I've been calling and calling and calling. I'm very mad right now. I want to flip out.
Don't flip. Hey, we're not the ones. We're not the ones.
You say you're the boots on the ground. I get it, but you told me that last time I was here, so I've been calling Tallahassee like crazy.
I didn't know either. This is what directions that was pulled. They basically verified that your old permit to possess this, which isn't even our office.
You basically let it run out because I've been calling before
that's because our office. Listen, the office.
Before it ran out, I tried to schedule something with you. And you put me off. Remember, I stayed here Monday all day waiting for you. You didn't show up. You could take them right now.
No. We're not taking them.
I don't want to be charged with a crime.
This is just showing that you understand that the state of Florida is charging you for being in possession of these right now without the proper licensing, the new licensing. Okay, it's not an admission of guilt. That's why you have your court date.
So I'm not getting grandfathered in.
No, you're not. You specific. I can't speak unless
specifically.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. We do not.
They're saying me specifically.
This is old. We don't do these permits. This is a different department now, and they are not.
But they should let me know. They should send me an email like they do for everything else, and let me know. It's almost like you don't want me to know the rules so that you can.
Chris, this has been issued out to all permit holders via email. I mean, they sent out memos.
I didn't get an email about the whole situation, or I wouldn't call and ask questions. I call and ask questions because I don't know the answer.
I don't know if they sent out.
Not just you, but I want to tell you, none of your fucking investigators know a goddamn thing about it because you're not the first one. I've had the other guy who was before you. He didn't know a goddamn thing. He could never answer questions. I call him up, try to talk to him. He don't even call me back. And you know, I always try to do the right thing.
And I say, and Chris, this, like I said, our hands are tied. We're being directed. This is what has to be done.
Let's do it. Get it over with so I can
I want you to understand, we're not taking your snakes. Okay? This is still.
I want you to understand, I would rather you take them out of here than me be charged with a crime. I'm not a fucking criminal.
I understand.
I've never been charged. I've never got a traffic ticket, let alone fucking.
Chris, I'm not calling you a criminal.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not.
I'm
just telling you.
In front of a judge, right?
This, like I said, this
You're
has
charging me with a crime,
yes,
right?
The state of Florida is.
Well, then I obviously broke the law.
Like I said, the way things.
I'm going to get a lawyer. I'm going to fight.
That's fine.
Now. I'm going to get every nickel I can scrape up, and I'm going to fight.
Please do. What I want to say about the constructive seizure, so that you understand, it's in your possession. We're not taking it. Okay? It's yours. Maintain it. Do as you would. Now, on the flip side of that, everything, obviously, we documented everything with you. It's on body cam. We counted the inventory. Everything's photographed. I want to be very clear that you understand this. I know you're not going to do this. If something goes missing.
Nothing's leaving this room.
Just hear me out. I have to tell you.
I'm not going to break the law. I already know that's why they're here.
Yes.
That's why they're here. I would have continued to sell them if I could have to get rid of them on time.
So that you know that you're not going to do anything. I understand that. But if something goes missing out of this inventory that we just inventoried with the three of us, you can be charged and be arrested for tampering with evidence.
No problem.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Nothing is going to leave this room.
All right, Chris. I need your signature right here, and I'm going to give you a copy. I need it right there, sir. Like I said, that you're not signing that you're agreeing with anything or disagreeing. It said that you understand that this is a constructive seizure.
Remember that press release where the FWC said he formally gave up his rights to the reptiles? Well, he did. Mostly out of fear, though. He signed away his rights to the FWC on a constructive seizure, which essentially forced Chris to keep those snakes at his facility, keeping them alive and accounted for until the state decides exactly what they wanted to do with them. And 14 months later, they decided.
Him and I were boots on the ground. We have to follow what our bosses do.
When I opened the door and seen two of you, I knew something's going on. It ain't the normal thing, so I get it.
You're being charged with the possession of the Burmese pythons and the reticulated pythons without a proper permit from Fish and Wildlife from the state of Florida, okay? Signing this right here is not an admission of guilt. It just says that you understand that on March 10th, 8:30 a.m., at this listed courthouse, 201 Southeast 6th Street, Fort Lauderdale, 33301, that you will appear in court. That you understand that. If you
follow the rules.
No, I understand, but I just want you, we have to just have this so we understand. If you do not appear in court on that day, you know what happens, correct?
Yeah.
They issue a warrant for your arrest.
Fine, I'll be there with a lawyer, trust me.
Please.
You told me to do it. You know that I did. You know that. You were here. You documented. I had about 140
Let me give you another example. All the green iguana tegu stuff, all permit holders that were commercial and sold, they've got a memo. They're not going to list.
I don't care about that. I'm just telling you that you told me to liquidate them. I did.
They did.
I just got stuck with these. I wasn't able to get rid of them in the time frame. You said stop. I followed the law. I stopped. Okay. So I got this here.
Tell it to the judge. Bring that up. Tell your attorney.
I got you. It puts such a bad taste in my mouth.
I understand, and I hope the best for you on this. Get an attorney. That's your right to. I can't give you any legal advice. Give all the information to your attorney and bring it up to court. Okay? You acknowledge that you will be in court on this date and this time for first appearance. Yep. Okay, Chris?
Yep.
This is where the boots on the ground, letting you know what the current situation is.
So then on this date, the judge will tell me, what do they do when they do take them? He says you can't have them anymore, I got to take them. What's going to happen to them?
Like I said, I don't know what a judge is going to say. We can't give you legal advice. Based on the outcome of the court, there are prohibited species in Florida. Okay, so depending on the outcome of the court case, we'll go from there. I can't give you any information. I don't give you false information. We don't know what's going to happen. Okay? Understand that
nothing's going anywhere. They've been here. Okay. That's why they're still here, because I didn't want to break the law.
I understand.
You see, some of them are this big. You know, I just wanted to do the right thing.
So that should have explained to you guys why the FWC said that Chris gave up his rights to the reptiles. But why did the FWC let these animals sit on death row for 14 months? So let's talk about the last part of the statement. The facility owner formally relinquished his reptiles to the FWC and requested that the FWC officers euthanize the reptiles. The chances are the FWC used a statement that Chris made kind of like this.
You could take them right now.
No, we're not taking them.
I don't want to be charged with a crime.
He was completely under pressure and afraid he was going to be arrested. I will say this though, Chris told me that those officers were at his facility for about 4 hours before the recording even started. So there is so much more to this story that we don't even know. And according to Chris, the officers repeatedly turned off their body cam footage. I watch a lot of cop videos, and I don't see these officers turning off their cameras when they're talking to criminals. I never see it happen. So why is the FWC allowed to do it? And if you don't believe me, here's a bunch of footage from the Iguanaland raid that happened about the same time, where they just covered up their cameras constantly. Or they just outright muted it. So until we get that footage, I won't be able to tell you guys an accurate story. But believe me, it's coming. And let's talk about this cool officer who's really popular right now.
Officer William Lee Lawshie spent 15 years with FWC, and after 3 pornography possession charges, he resigned. The director of the FWC Division of Law Enforcement said in part, "These charges are detestable to me and all of our employees and in no way reflect our values as an agency."
Not good. Not a good look for the FWC. But what's worse is the amount of posts and DMs that I saw mixing these two officers up. I just want to be clear. Officer Jonathan Wright and Officer William Lee Lawshie are two different people. Officer Jonathan Wright may be on everyone's bad side right now, but he sure doesn't deserve to be called a PDF file. But you know who's not bald though? Officer Lex Cordigera. I'd hate to have Google results like this. This is horrible. This is life-changing. Anyways, while doing a deep dive on this silver fox, I uncovered a discipline report. I'll be reading this report as if I'm an angry police boss person. On January 15th, 2020, you provided information to a nuisance wildlife trapper regarding the removal of pigeons. After answering her questions, you learned her primary business was the removal of the iguanas. A discussion ensued regarding humane methods of taking of iguanas. During that conversation, the trapper refused to identify herself or the name of her company and hung up the phone on you. From her phone number, you were able to ascertain her identity, address, and company name. You also learned that she is a Class 3 captive wildlife license holder with our agency. So with this information, you went to her house to further discuss the human versus inhuman taking of iguanas and to perform an inspection on her Class 3 facility. And upon arrival, you spoke with the trapper's boyfriend. Upon request, he contacted his girlfriend on your behalf and provided his phone for the purpose of continuing the discussion because you're a big old baby. And you don't like to be hung up on, do you, sir? After this conversation, with the permission of the license holder, you conducted an inspection of her Class 3 facility. The primary purpose of you going to her house was to continue the discussion regarding the humane taking of iguanas. This was done without merit and with no evidence of her taking iguanas inhumanely. While we do have an authority to conduct inspections on captive wild facilities, this inspection should have occurred separate from the iguana discussion, and not a result of your discussion. Lex went a bit too far on this one. Using her phone number to figure out her business location and then showing up there is pretty unhinged. Especially after all was said and done, you inspected them, which just reeks of retaliation. So there's so much more to talk about with this particular issue, but this video is getting too long, way too long. I know that this content isn't for everyone, but it's incredibly important that we cover it. Make sure you guys follow Daddy Kevin on Instagram and follow me on YouTube. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. Oh, and come watch me live on Kick if you love me. I gotta turn my camera on, dude.
You didn't turn your camera on!